Today, I'm going to dive deep into the legendary achievements of the Straw Hat crew and the reactions from all around the world when word got out. The Straw Hats brought down Ennis Lobby, and it's been revealed that their bounty skyrocketed to an astounding 667,050 berries. And with every bump in their bounty, we've seen reactions and emotions of characters worldwide in the cover stories. These cover stories, titled From the Decks of the World, showcase a plethora of historic adventures of the Straw Hats and feature many of our beloved characters. If you agree with the insights I'll be sharing, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. And hey, if I skip over a scene that's your favorite, drop me a comment and let me know. Be warned, this video contains spoilers up to Chapter 1067. Alright, let's dive in. First off, remember when the Straw Hat crew disappeared in Sabati Archipelago and then made a grand return 2 years later? I'll be introducing the cover story capturing global reactions to the news article titled The Complete Return of the Straw Hat Crew. In these cover stories, we get a trip down memory lane, revisiting nostalgic places and characters from their past adventures. In the first of these illustrations, we see Newsku delivering the article about the Straw Hats' triumphant return, showcasing the news spreading far and wide. Over in Luffy's hometown, Fuchsia Village, we've got the village chief fuming again at the thought of yet another pirate emerging from his turf. But guess what? The villagers? They're actually throwing a party, thrilled that a local celeb, notorious or not, is making headlines. Now, remember Makino from the bar? Surprise! She's now holding an adorable baby. At 31, she's embraced motherhood. And the buzz around town? Oda Sensei's hinting big time about who the dad might be. Fans are throwing theories left and right. It's a theory frenzy. Cut to Mount Corvo, and we see Dayton and Dogra passionately scrapbooking newspaper articles. There's Magra, so engrossed in reading he might just bore a hole through the paper. And the bandits? Gleefully sporting straw hats. Dayton is already a great mother, as she always watches over Luffy with concern. Moving on to Shell's Town, where Luffy and Zoro first teamed up, we spot young Rika working hard at the naval base. And guess what's drawing a crowd? Marines lining up to get their hands on Rika's rice balls. And right on her work counter, an article featuring Luffy. Over in Shimotsuki Village, Zoro's hometown, we see his mentor, Kushiro, updating Kuna about the Straw Hats' grand return. You can bet Kuina's ecstatic. Next, we're off to the familiar Orange Town, featuring prominently our Mayor Boodle and the loyal dog Shushu. The town's buzzing with a massive pet food shop and a Shushu-inspired fountain. Boodle's seen with a newspaper, his face lit up with a big smile. Still on the nostalgic trip, we swing by the rare Beast Island. We have Gaiman, who's found love, and Sarfunkel hilariously stuck in a barrel, alongside the island's quirky creatures. There's no news of Luffy here, but Gaiman sure looks blissful having a lover. Then there's Syrup Village, Usopp's hometown. Usopp's childhood crew, Onion, Carrot, and Pepper, are animatedly discussing his return. The ever-studious Kaya is seen surrounded by books, becoming a doctor. In the pile of books, there is a cutout of the Usopp section of the article on the complete revival of the Straw Hat crew, which has been pasted on it. Seems like she's drawing inspiration from it. And let's not forget about Butler Mary, busy shooing away potential suitors for Kaya. After taking down Arlong, Zoro's buddies Yosaku and Johnny retired from the bounty hunting. They're joyfully fishing around Kokoyashi Village. Speaking of Kokoyashi, Chabo, devastated by Arlong's terror and the loss of his father, is seen with Nojiko, offering harvested oranges to Belle Murray's grave. Jen, as always, is seen stressing over a photo of the stunning Nami, with Dr. Neko chilling with a drink in the background. Over at the floating restaurant, Barati, where Sanji spent most of his youth, there's some major renovation happening. Owner Zeph is spotted outside reading about Sanji's return, a hint of smiles sneaking onto his face. Former colleagues Patty and Karn are taking charge of the dessert and grill ships respectively. And guess what's featured on those ships? Wanted posters with Sanji's face. Next up, we dive into the characters the Straw Hat crew encountered as they stormed into the Grand Line. First up is Ippan Matsu, the owner of the weapon shop in Loketown. This guy gave Zoro the family treasure, the Yubashiri, and the cursed blade, Sendai Kaitsu. But even now, he's pretty much under his wife's thumb, scrubbing the bath like a classic hubby. And get this, he's got a giant photo of Zoro hanging on his bathroom wall. After their adventures in Loketown, do you remember where Luffy and the gang headed before entering the Grand Line? Yep, it's Twin Cape, home to the whale Laboon and the lighthouse keeper Crocus. In this cover art, as if reliving those moments, we see Laboon and Crocus chilling out, having a drink with a mysterious character. And hold on, those striped robes? Could it be? It's probably the old man with the steering wheel from Strong World, but his true identity hasn't been revealed yet. The next cover features former Baroque Works agents Mr. Nine and Miss Monday. And guess what? They've got a kid now, balancing parenthood and bounty hunting. Quite the life, huh? On Little Garden, the island where giants duel, even after 2 years, Dory and Brogy are still clashing, fighting for their pride. And oh boy, the next cover introduces us to the insufferable Wapol. Thanks to his Wapol medal, a shaped memory alloy he created with his own power, he's amassed a fortune. He's even married the gorgeous Miss Universe and established the notorious Black Drum Kingdom, recognized by the world nobles. He's reclaimed his much-desired position as a king. Remember, this is the guy who turned the old Drum Kingdom, Chopper's homeland, upside down. Now, Dalton has become king, renamed the kingdom to Sakura Kingdom, and organized the Sakura Peacekeeping Force. In surprise, that huge rabbit, Lapon, is now a soldier. After all the chaos caused by Wapol and Blackbeard, it's great to see peace finally prevailing. Back in Drum Castle, Dr. Correa has established the Ishii 100 Medical Center. It seems Drum Kingdom is on its way to regaining its reputation as a medical powerhouse. Here's hoping it becomes the world famous as the homeland of Chopper, the doctor who will cure all diseases. Switching scenes, we move from a snowy landscape to the desert kingdom of Alabasta. In this first cover, Koza, now Minister of Environment, is sharing news of the Straw Hat Crew's return with Toto. Preparing for the World Council, Pell and Chaka are seen getting new outfits. And right behind them, with a huge smile, is Igaram, sharing the same good news. I mean, have you ever seen pirates this beloved? And the moment we've all been waiting for, Vivi, 2 years later, now 18 and even more beautiful. She's out shopping in town with Keiru and Matsugi. Back at the palace, she offers the apple she bought to her ailing father, Cobra, while they share a warm moment reading about the Straw Hat Crew's comeback. Next up, we dive into the characters we met during the adventures in Skypiea. First up, we have Mont Blanc Cricket, who is living on the outskirts of Haya, and his crew, the Sarayama Alliance, which includes Mashira and Shoju. After finding the City of Gold in the sky, Cricket and his team set their sights on the legendary Dreamland, embarking on another journey filled with romance and adventure. While the Sarayama Alliance is sailing toward Dreamland, they've been shown super pumped after reading about Luffy and the crew's return in the newspaper. Luffy is the one who not only cleared his ancestor's name, but also made his own dreams come true. By the way, the South Bird from Haya, which always faces south, has now started coexisting with the newly arrived North Bird, Eastern Bird, and Western Bird. Over in Skypiea, we meet the old lady Amazon, who used to be the guard of the Heaven's Gate. She's now selling tickets for the newly opened amusement park, Wagyu-Land. And beside her, there's this epic statue of Usopp, the preacher of Wagyu. Seriously, Usopp leaving statues everywhere? That guy's a legend. Inside Wagyu-Land, a grown-up Asia is distributing cloud balls, and the ever-popular Nora Bungie is a hit as always. Back in Skypiea, Raki, who once fought as a warrior, has now opened the Pumpkin Cafe with Conus. Their specialty? Delicious pumpkin noodles. Conus' dad, along with the former White Beret Captain McKinley, seem to be enjoying it quite a bit. Protecting Skypiea and its god? That's the job of the God's Guard, which consists of Wiper, Kamakiri, Brahm, and Genbo. Meanwhile, Ganfal, who resumed his role as god, is having a friendly chat with the leader of Shandaya and his buddy Pierre. Around them, you'll spot heaps of pumpkins in the iconic Skypiea gold. Makes you wonder if Rocky and Conus get their pumpkins directly from the god, doesn't it? And there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the dreamy Skypiea filled with romance and adventure. All right, up next I'm going to dive into the fantastic folks of Water 7, the shipbuilding company's crew, the weird demolition folks, and even the conductors of the sea train. But before we go there, let's rewind a bit to Long Ring Longland. Do you guys remember Tanji? Thanks to Akidja's icy powers, he could finally join his village. And guess what? While he was away, he got an adorable granddaughter. Later returning to Water 7, Chimney, the little girl who apparently takes on the role of a station master, but only on Sundays. Looks like she's set to be Kokoro's successor, right? And speaking of Kokoro, when Chimney's running the station, Grandma Kokoro is chilling underwater. She even gets her news on the Straw Hat crew from a newspaper she's holding, all with a big grin on her face. Walking around the town, you'll find Kiwi and Mozu, Frankie's sidekicks, working at a bar. And the patrons? None other than the Lola Pirates, now back in the sunlight, having a blast talking about Luffy and his gang. Oh, and Iceberg, the president of Galila Company, he's got a new secretary, replacing Khalifa. And she's a prodigy at just 10 years old. You can tell Iceberg is completely taken aback by her talent. Galila is booming. They've even finished building the Puffing Ice, the second sea train. And guess who's ecstatic about his new promotion to vice president? Paulie. I bet Tom in heaven is absolutely thrilled too. Frankie's family is also doing big things. They've set up the Zambai Consortium in the neighboring gourmet town, Pushi. Anything related to ships, they've got you covered. From sales to repairs, even offering services on behalf of Galila. Moving on, we have Perona, who's searching for Kumashi, left behind on Thriller Bark. With Mariah's defeat, Kumashi, deprived of his shadow, can't move anymore. Yet seeing him again brought a smile to Perona's face. It's a bittersweet reunion. In the Sabati Archipelago, we saw Disco, the host of the Human Auctioning House. Thanks to Luffy, Kid, and Law, his business is in shambles. You can feel his burning resentment as he stabs their wanted posters with a knife. Lastly, let's talk about the folks at Impel Down. Magellan, once the warden, got demoted to vice warden after that mass breakout. Taking his place, Hanya Ball, and right beside him, Domino was promoted to head jailer. There's also a new jailer beast on the block, Mino Chihuahua. And Sadi, the chief guard, seems she's got a thing for Magellan these days, with Sol Death always sneakily watching. One more thing we can't skip, Bon Clay or Bon Chan's fate after the escape. Though his status was uncertain in the main story, these cover stories confirmed he's alive. Not just that, he's now the new queen of Nukama Land in level 5.5. Ivankov, the former queen, is back in his homeland, the Kamabaka Kingdom, catching up on the Straw Hats' latest adventures through a newspaper. Luffy and Sanji sure owe a lot to Ivasan. Finally, the cherry on top, the graves of Whitebeard and Ace. On Ace's grave, someone's left a newspaper article about the Straw Hats' comeback. I bet Ace is looking forward to Luffy's future exploits. After Luffy and the gang took down the Don Quixote family in Dressrosa, their combined bounty skyrocketed to a whopping 1.57 billion and 100 berries. Now, let's talk about the cover stories titled From the Decks of the World, the 500 Million Man Arc, showing reactions from people all over the world after seeing those bounties. It's always such a treat to get updates on the Straw Hat crew this way. We kick off with Newsku delivering newspapers as always. First up, we're taken to Fuchsia Village. The villagers are having a grand feast, celebrating Luffy's rise to fame. The village chief seems visibly upset about having a notorious pirate hail from his village. But seeing him at the local tavern with everyone else, I bet deep down he's just glad Luffy's doing well. Always nagging, but he cares, you know? And guess who else is there? The mountain bandit Dayton's family and Mikino's child, who we learned about in a previous cover story. Next, we visit Zoro's hometown, Shimotsuki Village. The dojo students are totally emulating Zoro, even copying his three-sword style and that iconic one-eye look. Master Koshiro, though, seems a bit stressed about this. I mean, can you blame the kids? Zoro's just too cool. Over in Syrup Village, Usopp's old pals, Pillman, Tamaneji, and Ninjin are sobbing after seeing his 200 million berries bounty. Kaya, who looks much more grown up now, is smiling as she checks out the poster. She looks healthier. I hope she's doing better now. Moving on to the floating restaurant, Barati. Chef Zeph seems a tad disappointed now that Sanji's goofy sketch in the wanted poster has been replaced by an actual photo. And Karn, who used to have that sketch on his teppanyaki grill, he's tearing the new poster to shreds in pure rage. Patty's laughing his head off watching this. Classic Barati chaos. Meanwhile, in Kokoyashi Village, Jen is protesting to the Marine headquarters after seeing yet another overly sexy photo of Nami on her bounty poster. Next to him, Nojiko, with a gentle smile, shares some of Belle Murray's tangerines. And at Twin Cape, we see Crocus telling Laboon about the Straw Hat's latest feats. Buddy Laboon seems to be in high spirits, with Luffy's pirate flag still proudly displayed on his head. Next up, it's the Sakura Kingdom. We see Dr. Correa reading about Chopper's achievements with Dalton, the Kingdom's soldiers, and the issue 100 looking on joyfully. Even Lapon seems to be doing well as one of the Kingdom's soldiers. Over in Alabasta Kingdom, Princess Vivi stands on a balcony, a smile on her face as she gazes into the distance, likely thinking of Luffy and the gang. Behind her, Karoo is adorably struggling to cut out the news article for a scrapbook. Next, we're in Frankie's hometown, Water 7. Upon seeing Frankie's new cyborg-like appearance on his bounty poster, Iceberg and the rest seem pretty stunned. The women, however, find it hilarious. Then, at the Revolutionary Army's base in Baltigo, Koala looks pleased, checking out the crew's posters, while Sabo can't stop grinning, especially at Luffy's. Man, he really does look like Luffy when he smiles. And in a rare sight, we even get to see Dragon. Hand on chin, eyes shaded. It's hard to read what he's thinking. Next up, we'll dive into the mentors that took the Straw Hat crew under their wings during their 2-year training. First, over in Futureland of Baltimore, where Frankie honed his skills, the locals burst into laughter seeing Frankie's bounty poster, and you can spot cyborg animals grinning ear to ear. Then, in the Torino Kingdom, where Chopper bulked up on his training, birds and the native tribe coexist in harmony. Look at the back. There's a sign for Tanuki Drugstore. Turns out, Chopper's medical prowess benefited his kingdom too. Kids around here rock Chopper cosplay outfits, cheering for his achievements. Meanwhile, on Sabati Archipelago, the former managers of Soul King Brook are fuming. They're witnessing him ditching the state for a pirate's life. Newspapers torn to shreds, desks smashed, and his wanted poster stabbed with a knife. They're going wild. And then we have Usopp's master, Heracles. But get this, he just got back from dropping Usopp off at Sabati and found out his protege's feats while riding a massive beetle. Moving on, the residents of Witheria, the small sky island where Nami trained for 2 years. The elderly folks there, they're diving deep into fashion, hoping Nami will complement their style next time they meet. On the ruins of the Kurigana Island, where Zoro trained, we find Mihawk and Perona. They've settled there, farming the battlefield remains alongside the residents' human drills. And guess what? They're checking out the Straw Hat crew's achievements during their farming break. Over at Kamabaka Kingdom, where the Sanji found himself, Ivankov and the Okama are prepping for some kind of party. Info's sparse, but we might get the party deets in the main story soon. Down in Fishman Island, the first stop post Straw Hat reunion, it seems like hero hats, probably set up by Boss Jinbe, are all the rage. With Dekken out of the picture, Princess Shirahoshi is now free to roam outside the hard-shelled tower. Fingers crossed, Fishmen and humans living together in harmony is on the horizon. Then there's Luffy's mentor, Rayleigh, and the potential future wife, Pirate Empress Hancock, leading the Kuja Pirates. Luffy's wild 2-year training journey on Ruskena Island with the fierce beasts is depicted. Rayleigh? He's taking a break from his gambling at Sabati to read about Luffy's latest adventures. On Ruskena Island, Margaret is showing the beasts Luffy's wanted poster, and guess what? These beasts are tearing up. And Hancock? She's got Luffy's photo, probably the biggest in the story, plastered on her castle wall. Seems Luffy's won over not just Hancock, but the entire island of women. Meanwhile, on an island in the Grain Line, former Marine Admiral Aokiji is enjoying a barbecue with his penguin buddy, Camel, all while scanning the papers. Rumor has it he's in cahoots with Blackbeard, but what's the real story? Lastly, we spot the Red Hair Pirates on a desolated island. Usopp is having a blast reading an article with Building Snake and Bonk Punch as well as his buddy Monster watching over. On the very last cover page, a beaming Shanks holding up a newspaper and Ben Beckman watching over. Rockstar is drawn and it looks like there's a wedding happening on the island. Who's getting hitched? That's still under wraps. Well, that's all for today. This channel posts summaries, explanations, and ranking videos related to One Piece. If you like One Piece, we'd be happy if you could support us by subscribing to our channel and commenting. Thank you for watching till the end, and we'll see you in the next video.